Okay, so let's get transparent today. Today, I want to specifically focus on real life scenarios, right? A collective scenario, not based on sign, not based on gender, not based on, a ethnic group, but based on our interactions as humans, right? And so, a lot of people reach out to me and they say that they need spiritual healing, they need spiritual motivation, uplifting, because ultimately that is what, drives us to the finish line is when we are, in tune with our spiritual journey and we have clarity and wisdom and discernment on how to move forward in a decisive manner with a clear heart, a clear mind, and clear energy. So I am going to get this is going to be an energy reading for the collective, specifically for you. If you've reached this message in some shape, way, or fashion, this message applies to you. We're connected in some way, and I want to be of service to you. Of course, my services are always available for those who would like a one on one personal spiritual advising session, spiritual life coaching, or a tarot reading session. It is simply getting your energy, understanding what's in your energy field, how you should move forward in a decisive manner, and key things to look out for and to implement along the way. That is very, very important during this time, okay? The homework that you do will aid in the results that you will get, because ultimately we can get the what's in your energy field and we can get what comes out in the cards, but ultimately it's what you do that leads up to that moment of where the finish line is, and it's going to determine if you are able to get the reward that's in your energy. If not, then that means you haven't completed the karmic cycles and you have not done the work, but it's always available to you to start whenever it is that you want. This is the gift of free will. Okay? God does not pull back just because we do not pull forward. Instead, that wisdom, guidance, protection, love, compassion is always there. It's just when you want to take hold of the opportunity. Okay, so we're going to get some energy that comes out and then we're going to break it down. I really like this deck because this is a deck specifically for clients and therapists. So we're going to see what comes out and then we're going to build upon that. Now, this is for the collective. Okay? It will not resonate with everyone, but it should, if that makes sense. So we have a few things that's spilling out. I don't want to take them because I want to align them in a uniform structure. We have self-care. So we're going to talk about self-care. We're going to talk about resources that we have in the areas of self-care. We're going to talk about taking hold of your mind. We're also going to talk about what is good, what are emotions good for, and unjustified guilt. At the bottom of the deck, we have self-respect, effectiveness. So we're pretty much talking about self-respect. This aids in self-care, understanding the resources and the barriers for each self-care area, taking hold of your mind, practicing where your mind needs to be directed, understanding how emotions motivate our behaviors, and not using and understanding why we have reasons for guilt that is not justified. Now, I'm sure that we can all relate to this in some shape, form, or fashion. So when it goes in the areas of self-care, we're talking about physical health, going to the doctor, getting the treatments that is recommended. We're also talking about, resources for strength and weaknesses that we have within us that we need to focus on. We also talk about eating healthy and in a balanced way, avoiding drugs and alcohol, getting enough sleep so that we feel good, also exercising and moving your body on a daily basis, and practicing mindfulness and meditation on a regular basis as well is what make a difference in your life. Okay, so we're going to get more into this energy here before we move on to the next. And we're going to see what scenario and what energy comes out in this area so that we can move in alignment with what it is that we are really supposed to do so that we can get the best results out of life and out of a scenario or situation in our life. Let's get some energy on self-care. Okay, right here. If you see this energy here, we have the devil energy, we have the tower energy as well. Now, when we look at this as self-destructive behavior. This is exactly what it looks like to me. This looks like self-destructive behavior. So when we look in the areas of self-destructive behavior, we have to understand what are we not doing that's right. And this is ultimately self-love. So something about this energy is you're not paying attention to exactly what it is that you need in the forms of self-care. So the tower is major change. It's breaking up a foundation that was never solid in the beginning. And when we see the devil card, we look at this as vices, and we look at this as addictions and energies that succumb us to circumstances that we ultimately need to break free from. And then what we have next is we have the Death card, we have the Four of Wands, and we have the Ten of Pentacles. And so when we look at this energy, this pretty much looks like you go from self-destructive behaviors and breaking that down with the realization, right? And that is now dead. That is now behind you. And you move on to calmer waters. And I look at this as the 1111 card. So what it is that you've put intentions to aid in your self-care has now resulted into what you wanted to manifest, which is a happy, more fruitful nature. And what comes with that is peace of mind in your home, within yourself, within your dynamic. And it also comes with an influx in pay as well, and security. And I look at this as like these are the same individuals. So where you once lacked and you were in this tower devil energy, you decided to initiate a rebirth by doing the homework, by taking care of yourself. And this has landed you in a very fruitful direction. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Cups. This is celebration, celebratory energy. This is a stable home. Okay? This is stable home, stable within yourself energy. You're now giving yourself the reciprocity that you need. This is self-care. So where you were once trying to figure out how to break addictions and things like that, now you're pouring from a clear, empty, you're connected with all elements. You're pouring from this cup. You're giving and receiving. You also are very grounded, emotionally stable. Everything around you grows. Everything within yourself knows, okay? So this is the energy that we have for the area of self-care and why it's very important, and the results that you will get once you understand self-care and start to practice those things, okay? So we're going to put this card over here. Now we're going to talk about resources, barriers in areas for self-care. All right. So when you think about your resources for self-care, what does that mean? That means if you need to go to the chiropractor, you know the number to the chiropractor, right? You know how much the services cost. You put that in your budget and you move forward in that direction because you know that you're going to need those chiropractor services. That also relates to the doctor, the dentist, the eye doctor, right? So the list of resources that you have, if you enjoy getting a massage, if you enjoy salon services, all of this aid in self-care, also as well as entertainment. If it's something that entertains you, and this can be whatever it is, but it aids in, you taking care of yourself, being able to relax, being able to feel comfortable, getting into a place of stillness and gratitude simultaneously. So let's get what energies we have for the resources and barriers for each self-care areas. Understanding what it is that you have, brainstorming in your mind all of the areas in which you need to take care of yourself. Okay? When you do this, you start to understand, okay, I have a grips on this, I have a grips on this, I have a grips on this, I have a grips on this. This is where I need to get a grip from in my life. I also look at this as looking at what appointments need to be made and making these appointments and sticking to these appointments as well. Okay, let's see what else comes out for you. We have the Ace of Pentacles, giving to yourself. So you go from looking at all these things that you need to complete, you need to do, all the areas in your life where self-care is needed, and you taking that time out for yourself, starting gradually, because we go from from the Seven of Cups to the Four of Pentacles, and then we go to the Ace of Pentacles. So we look at this as the Five of Cups, the Queen of Swords, and we have the Ten of Cups. So when we look at this, we go from understanding all of the things that are bothering us that we need to tend to. This is us actually going in and tending to these things, one thing at a time. Okay, so you can get 4 things done at a time. Okay, great, perfect. So go ahead and get these 4 things done and set your schedule for this. And then we have the Ace of Pentacles. So once you get these 4 things done, then you see the blessing and it feels so good when you take a hold of everything that you're supposed to do. And so now you're giving yourself the Ace of Pentacles. That's the ultimate ace. Here, this is what you're saying to yourself. Here, you deserve this. Here, this is what I'm going to give to you. This is what I'm going to focus on. This is what I need. And so this now gets you out of this energy where you feel like what you have spilled, you don't have behind you, because you have 3 cups that is spilled in front and you have 2 cups behind. And I look at this as checking off the list. This is exactly what I look at this as. So you were able to check these things off the list, but understand that you have 2 more things behind you that you need to get together. And I look at these as the emotional aspect of what you are. You've tended to these 3 things, but you have 2 more behind you. Okay? For the Queen of Swords, telling it like it is, right? Very cerebral, very smart, understanding what needs to get done and taking care of it. And I also look at this as like you telling yourself, this is what I need to get. This is what I need to take care of. This is what I need to take care of. There's no excuses. This is what has to be done. And ultimately, when you give yourself that talk and you have that motivation, then now you have the happy home card. This is the happy life card, because you are putting in the work. And if you look, you go from needing to take care of yourself to taking care of yourself. This is completely different energies. But they are all cups, but they go from where the cups were full and needing to be cleared out, needing to be addressed, to having the cups fully addressed. And you go from out of this energy of wondering and looking and planning to have already planned and already have received. Okay, so this is what the areas of self-care will do for you when you take care of yourself and you stick to the plan. Now we have take hold of your mind. Now in this area, we talk about directing your mind where you want it to be. Controlling your mental windows of thoughts, emotions, bodily sensation. Okay, because we sense everything that is in our environment, and we are connected to our environment. So when there's a window that opens that needs to be closed, we need to be able to gently close it back so that we can continue and to stay focused on what it is that we really need to, address at that time. Okay, so let's get some energies on taking hold of your mind. We have communication. We have the Three of Swords, and we have the Six of Wands. We have the Eight of Wands, the Three of Swords, the Six of Wands. We have this card coming back out. Okay, Seven of Cups. What else do we have? We have the Fool card, and we have the Five of Swords. Now let's get into this. When we talk about taking hold of your mind, we can look at this as all of the thoughts that are just in your mind that you're just thinking. This is air energy. So we're looking at all of the thoughts that are going in your mind. Some can be heartbroken. Some can be heartbreaking, because when we think about so many different things, these mental windows that are open, we can trick ourselves, or we can remind ourselves of things that happened previously that had made us upset or emotional in a negative way. And it does not have to be necessarily mean negative. It just means it's not appropriate to think about this at this time. So when we allow our mind to drift in a lot of different aspects, we can begin to hurt our own feelings, just as well as we can be grateful about things. But I look at this as, piercing hearts. So these ideas, these mental windows that are open are not necessarily beneficial to you at this time. So when you take hold of your mind, you gain strength to be able to move in a different direction successfully. This is the Victory card. And when you see how this individual is very poised, is very sure of where they're going, and then you also have people who are following it. I look at these as all the different thoughts. So where your mind was once guiding you, you decided to straighten these wands and guide your mind and get a hold of your mind. Okay? This is controlling your mental windows. This is exactly what these mental windows look like. Having a hold on every aspect of your thoughts and your emotions. Taking control successfully. Opening the windows that need to be open and closing the windows that need to be closed. Choosing to still address these things, but at the appropriate time. Okay? Because when we're talking about mental windows, you can trick yourself. We can trick ourselves into areas that does not serve us. So we have to understand that this is who we are, taking a hold of our minds. This is lighter energy, this is darker energy, and this is self. This has nothing to do with anyone else. And so you can look at yourself internally as this, tricking yourself. And so it's important to be mindful that when our mind sways negatively, we have the control to get a grip. Stop hurting our own feelings. Stop letting our mind wander. Okay? Victory is yours in all aspects because you control you. And that does take practice, but ultimately you control you because we are the common denominator of what comes into our life. Now, let's talk about what good are emotions, because emotions motivate our behavior. And so, if you're anxious about an exam, right, that you're preparing for, or you feel angry about an injustice, or if you're feeling depreciated or depressed, it is time for you to increase your level of activity and self-care. So usually if we're feeling anxious about something, we'll prepare for it, right? Just like if you're feeling an injustice about something, it will motivate you to advocacy. So when you are feeling depressed and depleted, it will push you to increase your activity level in your self-care so that you feel better within yourself, right? So it is important to understand that we have to go against lower vibrations within ourselves, our shadow side. Our light side have to challenge our shadow side, and we have to pay attention to all aspects of who we are because we have to blend those energies. That is who we are. There is no running away from self. So when we identify these things within ourselves, we can always see the silver lining, right? Changing something from good to bad, from ugly to beautiful. Okay, so let's get some energy on what good are emotions and transmuting that energy. Right away, we have the Two of Swords, mental conflict. Then we have the Hierophant, command and order. And if you look here, there's two sides. We have two sides here and we have two sides here as well. Okay, judgment. This is judgment on yourself. So which way are you going to go? This is what it's saying. Which way are you going to go? Because you can blow the trumpet and you can create all these judgments in your life, but you need to be able to balance both sides. So going from the Two of Swords to the Hierophant is a very powerful position to be in. And again, we have the Victory card, taking a hold of your mind. Taking a hold of your mind. Self-accountability is definitely needed in this area. Yes, look at this. Look how beautiful this is. You go from the Two of Swords to the Lovers. This is all self. This is balancing of self. We have three different cards here that are speaking of balancing yourself. So this is first. This is second. This is third. Look how beautiful that is. And I look at this as the India.Arie song. There has to be a sun and a moon, a man and a woman, and that's just the way it is. So light and dark, masculine and feminine energies. What you consider good, what you consider bad, what you consider strength, what you consider weaknesses, all aids in balancing. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Magician card. Completed successfully. This is understanding the assignments of the circle of life. Okay? So, we've arrived to our last card, and this is talking about unjustified guilt. Saying, I apologize, I'm sorry for things that should not be made apology to or for. Okay, so when we need to coach ourselves out of self-talk statements, feeling guilty about behaviors because it no longer serves us, right? It no longer serves us. And it shouldn't cause an emotional reaction within us, but it does. So let's talk about this. So an example of self-care, right, is saying no. and creating boundaries for others, creating boundaries for ourselves, because in order for us to receive that victory card, we have to create boundaries. And that's just what the way that is. But some people feel guilty for having fun. Some people feel guilty for putting up, barriers and boundaries so that you're able to, align yourself. So let's talk about the guilt that is associated with self-care, putting up boundaries. Let's talk about this, okay? We have the title card. And I look at this as being exactly who we are. Seeing ourselves, because we have a Fool card. So I look at this as the title card. So when we see ourselves through a looking glass, we see ourselves succeeding. We see ourselves being our higher self. But ultimately, this is just a picture. This is just a looking glass. So how exactly do we get to be in the picture, for the picture to become real life for us? Because in tarot, this is the Fool's journey. This is what the whole spread talks about. So every aspect of the different cards, the different numbers, it's just like playing cards. They all mean something. Every suit means something. Every number means something. Every card means something, and it all have something to do with the aspect of the cycle of life. So understanding the cards is ultimately understanding the cycle of life. So let's get more into this. So seeing yourself how you want to be, what you are. Feeling like you're not there. We have 55. These are the lowest vibrational cards in the deck. So let's see exactly how you're seeing yourself in this light, but you're in this energy. So for the person that needs motivation and feeling like, look, these are a lot. You're feeling like you're emotionally drained. You feel like you're not doing anything right. You're feeling left out in the cold. You're feeling like if you were to set these boundaries, you will be left out in the cold. And we look at this. It's like this individual is leaving, and this individual is looking for confirmation, or looking for, this person to turn around and say, hey, can you help me? Can you talk to me? Why are you leaving? And so this is what we feel like if we set our boundaries, people are going to leave. And it's going to leave you feeling like that you empty your cups out prematurely, but not understanding that you have 2 cups behind you here. Okay? When you get out of this energy and you get into this energy, because these people, this energy is looking for confirmation, is looking for consolation, but this one is taking a hold of what it is that they have to, and these cups are full and they're standing up, and this individual is deciding to walk away from what does not serve. And I look at this as creating boundaries. These are not creating boundaries. This is wanting to be accepted. This one is accepting self and walking away from what does not serve, this situation any longer. But you have to see that this moon, we cannot ignore this moon here. You are always guided. And we looked at this. Look at this. This is the Strength card. So getting the strength to walk away, whereas not having the strength before, being able to see yourself as this, but not knowing how to get here. But this is walking away and saying, okay, I'm going to take control over what it is, and then looks what come in. So although this is the 8 of Cups, we have the infinity sign here. Now, this is the King of Cups. The King of Cups is the king. That is what he is. If you notice that this is water, this is also, it's like he have on like scaly shoes. So look at this as a water sign energy. But being emotionally available, emotionally direct. He has his cups. He knows exactly what to do with his cup. He knows exactly who to share his cup with, who to give his cup to, what attention he needs to, give to the situation. And he have his boundaries as well. He's sitting on his throne. This is completely different energies. So we want to be in our King of Cups energy. And right here, and this right here, and this is where offers that serve you comes in. We also have the star card at the bottom of the deck. When you understand and you walk in alignment with your star player, as you see yourself before, when you walk in alignment with your star player, you get star player results. So you go from the lowest cards in the deck, the Five of Pentacles, the Five of Cups, to the the King of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Star card. Now what serves you, because you are the common denominator, what comes in your life. Now what comes in your life is what you need to come into your life. Bright prospects, people who understand your boundaries, people who move in alignment with your boundaries, people who support you, people who pour into you. You pouring into yourself, you pouring into others. You're no longer pouring from an empty cup. Your cup is overflow. Who you have to thank for this energy is the divine every time, because this is where you get your strength from. And when you gain enough strength to walk away from what does not serve you, you're not walking away alone. Okay? So this is the energy that I have for the collective. I want to get a couple more things for you, okay, to share with you for the energies. But you see how the transformation we have before and after. But that's ultimately putting in the work. Let's get the energy for you at this time. We have the angel of joyfulness. Something wondrous and magical is about to happen for you. This is the area of your family life, your home life. This is the area of your diet. This is the area of your inner knowing. So the first card that comes out, it says something wondrous and magical is going to happen for you. This is a butterfly. This is her coming out of a flower with her butterfly wings. And they've not spread it to the maximum extent, but they are up. And so I look at this as going from a caterpillar to a butterfly. The growth, growing. And then we have the family card here. And it says the angels surround both you and your family at the moment. And that is the card where I showed you with the moon. You have to understand that God is on your side no matter what. And every step of the way, and everything that you do, and everything that you think, you have support always. And we look at the angel of diet and nutrition. And so it's saying pay attention to what you eat and drink, because you intuitively know what is good for you. This is setting the boundaries, because, it is very true. When you control what you eat and what you take in, you control everything else. So you have to be able to control yourself in all aspects, starting with what you eat and drink. Okay, and then we have the angel of psychic abilities. Your intuition and psychic abilities are strong at this time. So you know what intuitively you're supposed to be doing in all aspects of the way that you take things in, the way that you eat, your family, as well as how you take care of yourself and the transformation that is happening right now. Okay? Now, let's get one more card, and we crack the deck, and we have blessings here. We have the rainbow. That's God's promise as well. So, as soon as I split the deck, we have fog and veiled, and we have blessings here. So going from a place where indecision, things are being clouded, to going to a place where you're receiving your blessings is such a very, very beautiful thing. And when you do the work, no one can, you know, claim your work. Ultimately, you're not going to worry about that anyway, but when you do the work and you go within yourself, no one can take credit for that. That is credit of self, because you've done the inner work, you've done the shadow work, you created the boundaries, you created your reality. In all aspects and everything that we do, we create our reality. What do we put most of our attention into? And that is what makes a difference, really makes a difference, in how we move forward and how we align ourselves. And I just want to share this too before I close out of this reading. We are the common denominator, what comes in our life. We can go through a rebirth and be a completely different person and be in a completely different, you know, situation that we were in. It only takes 1 year. And that is very truthful. When you think about a baby, and you think about they're in their mother's womb, it takes 9 months for a child to be born. This is the same thing as when it causes us to be reborn. When we go within and we do the work and we listen to that voice, but we have to pray for wisdom and discernment, and we have to pray for clarity, and we have to pray to and for the right things in order to align ourselves. And once we do that and we trust, which means faith of a mustard seed, we will get to where we need to go. We just have to surrender often. We have to pray. We have to ground ourselves. We have to believe, and we have to stay in alignment with what it is that God has set for us in the cycle of life. The abundance is already here. We already have everything for an abundant life. It's just we have to align our heart and our minds to be of pureness. And once we do this, and once we move towards this and share this with others, we have broken the generational curse that has been existing for quite some time. So in order to do this, and all of that sounds very wonderful, but it always starts with self first and foremost. So I hope that you've gained some clarity, some enlightenment, and some motivation to move forward in your quest for gaining a better life for yourself and for your lineage. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the inside. If you would like to book a spiritual advising session, a spiritual life coaching session, or a psychic reading, you may do so by texting clarity to 248-986-4925. One of our advisors will reach out to you to let you know your next steps and what it is that you have to do, so that we can get you scheduled on our books, and we'll take great care of you. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.